Welcome to Glad We Had This Chat with me, Caroline Hirons. It's your one-stop shop for all things skincare, beauty and beyond. My guest this week is one of the UK's most charismatic and esteemed TV presenters. She has been captivating audiences across Ireland and the UK with her infectious personality and warmth for over a decade. With a career as creative as she is, please welcome Angela Scanlon to the pod.
I used a deodorant recently that was one of those natural ones.
Oh, they don't work.
It put freaking oil onto my clothes.
And you probably hum a bit.
A bit of a gentle hum.
And we're off. Angela Scanlon, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, babe. This is a bougie setup, isn't it?
It's a bit bougie, isn't it? How's life?
Life is good. It's
Up
pretty
early in the
good.
mornings recently.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Just on the weekends, you know.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, I've taken over.
From your man?
Yeah. Yeah.
So taking
Virgin
over from Graham
Radio,
Norton,
yes.
Virgin. And what time are you on air
I'm
at
on air
weekends?
7 to 10, Saturday and Sunday.
And what time do you have to be there though?
I have to be there. We're kind of eking it out. But, you know, speed limit's 20.
Yeah.
So I've got to be up at 6.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And you got
I
small
gotta be up
kids
maybe
anyway.
a bit earlier than 6, but I'm kind of nudging it in my mind. 6 feels acceptable. But yeah, my 2 girls are up. They're like 5, half 5 kind of gals.
Especially in
and
the summer.
yeah, and also they just don't seem to be bothered about the weekend.
They don't know that you want to have a lie-in.
No.
So it makes no odds.
They wake up roaring pancakes. They know, you know, I mean, they wake up roaring pancakes most days, but we kind of, you know, kick it down the tracks until a Saturday. Yeah, I have my pancakes when I come home now. We're not having them 5 a.m.
No, God no.
You know.
How are you
But yeah.
finding it?
Do you know what? I'm absolutely loving it. I've always loved radio and the kind of intimacy of it and the idea, as cliched as it sounds, of chatting to an individual person. And the feedback, you know, so you'll have a message in from somebody, you'll respond to them, they'll follow up with, oh, by the way, I didn't mean that, or, oh, I've finished the run that I was telling you I was going on. And so I like that kind of dialogue and the sense of day and the sense of time and being with people in their kitchens or
Because
on their
people
dog
are
walks
generally
or-
in a good mood in the morning on the weekends. It's not like you're doing an 8 a.m. slot on a Monday.
You're not having to drag them out of
Now,
the
come on,
bed.
lads, we can do this. You'll be
Yeah.
okay. Get to school, get to work. No,
Totally.
it's Saturday, Sunday.
But also, I think I you know, get to tell them that they can roll over. You know, I can't, but they can.
You're like, take it for me, enjoy it. I
You know
can't do it,
what?
enjoy it.
Stay in your pajamas.
How did that come about, considering that I read, tell me if it's a lie,
Oh, no,
it's
go
highly
on.
feasible it is, that you kind of mugged your way onto the one show and said you've done presenting. And so if you get your way on there, because obviously I admire it, go for it. Yeah, of course I've done it. I've did it loads in Ireland. What's the matter with you? How dare you insult me? How do you not know I was on TV in Ireland and I presented?
See, I didn't go at that level of sass. I kind of went with more of a, yeah, I've definitely done it in Ireland. And, you know, this was before the Tinterweb.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it probably wasn't, but, like, you know, it was harder to find archive. So I just knew, like, I had done it.
Yeah.
It might have been in my head, but I had done it, you know.
Yeah.
I knew I could do it, and I stand by that decision.
Absolutely.
You know, to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I think you've got to have confidence in your ability, even if it's unfounded sometimes. And you learn as you go. You have to know that you'll find your way. And, you know, I think women generally tend to wait until they're fully
and
qualified.
step back and don't jump for a job.
And men do the exact opposite.
Yeah. I can do that.
Watch me.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll figure it out. And so for me, it feels like a feminist move, not a cheeky.
No. I mean, get in there.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
You gotta figure
How
it
long
out.
ago was that?
That was really bad with timelines, but I'm gonna say it was probably 8 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time goes quick, doesn't it?
It really does. Because I think, it was before I had Ruby, who's now 6. So it was certainly 7 years ago.
And then you managed to keep that going while you're having kids.
I was sitting in for Alex for her maternity leave, and I remember, which is why I know now, it must have been 6-7 years ago rather than 8. because there was conversations around how sitting on the sofa would literally make you pregnant. Because it was
like one in, one out, one out.
So by the time I left, I did the entire maternity leave, and then I would do cover. So yeah, it's a dream job. You know, the One Show is iconic, and it's live, which I love.
Live. Get in.
You hear the horns, you're like, woo, here we go. Yeah, it's good times.
Did you have the same feeling of, woo, here we go, when you heard da 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 da?
Yeah.
How did that happen? That's brave.
Yes.
First of all, you were fantastic.
Thank
so
you.
Thank God.
Thank
God you were fantastic. Imagine if you were shit.
But like, that's the thing. I had to make peace with that. I had to have really hard conversations with myself and
like,
go, okay,
you might be terrible.
I could be and I mean, there were periods where I was like, I am not a natural born ballroom dancer. Like, I could not figure out I don't understand what you mean by ball heel. What? There's one foot. What?
Yeah.
It turned out that I wasn't as coordinated as
you may have thought.
As I may have thought, or as maybe I might appear. Like, Carlos would do things which is very unique to him, or maybe it's actually quite an Irish thing, weirdly, like a backhanded compliment, where he'd look at me and be like, you look like a dancer. So he'd be so confused that whatever we were attempting to do was, and I would. So he said the things that like usually come naturally as a human, as in opposition, like how do you run? Turns out I run like that.
Well, how does he run?
I mean, everyone runs opposite.
Yeah. Oh, you run the same?
I run the same. And it became a running joke. Eventually, it became such a thing that he'd be like, do you know what? Let's just make it your thing. It's just
your thing.
Because it became such a preoccupation, and it was, the more I thought about it, the more unnatural it became. But it was, honestly, it was one of the most magical things I've ever done. I mean, it was hardcore, and I felt like I had been, like a cloth, wrung out and, spat out the other side. But, with not that much time, it really, and even in the moment, I knew how significant it was for me on a lot of different levels. And the reason that I went into it, as there have been conversations, as there often are for a lot of people who do it, beforehand, and timings and all of those kind of things. And I really went into it, like, selfishly with, it was a personal thing for me, rather than, okay, this, it wasn't a career move for me. Obviously, there's, very few shows that give you that amount of exposure and eyes and all of that stuff. So, like, I was aware of that. But it was very much, okay, I could go in and be absolutely shit. And I'm okay with that.
When did you know you weren't?
I mean, I don't know that I ever knew I wasn't.
And
I have never watched my exit dance. I've never watched it. So there's a lot of self-doubt that came to the surface. So a lot of emotions and habits and beliefs that I was kind of aware that are there, that I mask a lot of the time.
Right.
And that sometimes I don't feel at all, or I'm not in touch with it all. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be like having a big old therapy session in front of 10 million people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in hindsight, I could have done it privately, but look, it's more fun.
It's more fun. But
yeah,
TV Gold, some of the bits where you get to Claudia and Carlos starts talking.
Yeah.
And she says, and Claudia's going, okay, right, moving on. Because he's just so excitable, and he can't get the words out quick enough. Like, his words won't form into his mouth quick enough for him to get out what's in his brain.
And like multiple tabs open, which I think I can very much relate
to. Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell me what the day was like on show day. Just give us all, because everyone's like, oh, Strictly, what's it like?
Oh, like logistically, you mean?
What's a show day?
Show day is, it tended to be early. I mean, it's earlier for the women than it is for the men because of makeup. So, you're in, like, I think I was picked up around 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Wow,
usually.
it's a long day.
Yeah, so then you're in makeup from quite early on, 10 o'clock probably. You might have a little bit of downtime, have a coffee into the chair, and then you've got an hour in each with maybe usually they tend to, I mean, they schedule it and the team are insane.
Yeah.
And so they schedule it as, so that it's back to back. But yeah, 2 hours in makeup, and then you do dress rehearsal, hair and makeup, lunch, dress rehearsal, or dress rehearsal, lunch.
Lunch, yeah.
And then back into makeup. There's a wardrobe, last minute kind of fittings. Then you'll do the dress rehearsal and the gallery will decide, what, that skirt needs more skirt.
Right.
Or, whatever, the colour is not quite right, or I don't like Carlos's shirt, or whatever it might be. So there's all of those kind of last minute tweaks and changes that are happening. Vicky Gill and her team literally until the last minute. And then, you might have a nap. I was never very good at that.
Just have to lie like this.
Yeah, lie really, really still, depending on your hair. And then it's showtime before you know it. So it's like, trying to manage, when am I going to eat? Because I really do need to eat, but like...
You don't want to be sick and...
You don't want to be having a curry at 5, p.m.
No.
before a samba at 7. It's not a good combo.
And there's a line. You don't want to curry at 5 before a samba at 7.
Yeah, but like it is that kind of set. There, very few things have that level of scale.
Yeah, and everything,
excitement.
Awareness and live and excitement.
And just the moment everyone knows we're working to 7 o'clock and it's just like beautiful, beautiful chaos. But runs like clockwork as well, because most of the team,
They've been there forever.
20 years. Yeah.
What's it like waiting to find out if you're through?
Under the lights,
yeah.
Hell on earth.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're still allowed to do it.
I know. It's torture. You're watching it going, you're dragging it out. These poor people.
Honestly, it's absolute torture. And the thing about it is, we were very rarely like up there on the leaderboard. Twice maybe, so you can sometimes have like a little bit of a breather, because I don't fully understand how the marking works, but if you're right up there, it's very unlikely that the public vote will, no matter how bad it is enough to get you out. If you're skirting around the middle, it's danger zone. So the level of competition was insane, and so so it was never comfortable.
And then I'll come into like you getting ready and then lack of fake tan, which was solid.
Thanks.
But when you were voted off, my husband watches key bits with me. He won't watch the whole thing. He'll occasionally go, "Oh, God, watch this. You've got to watch this. You've got to watch this."
Yeah.
But when you got voted off, I was at home and I was like, I was raging, right? I was raging. As soon as they called you off to the dance off, I was livid. And then when you got voted off, you looked across between gutted and raging. So Jim went, "She's not happy." I went, "She is fucking raging." And I went, "As she should be."
No, I honestly, I don't know that I don't even know that rage has ever really surfaced.
Maybe I was just completely projecting.
Yeah,
because I was sitting at home going, "There's no justice."
I was genuinely gutted.
Yeah.
I was gutted because it had been it felt like it had been quite a tough run for us. We started really strong. The tango, I mean, I can't even tell you how tricky that was. I just didn't realise. In my head, I'm a real show-off and I'm quite comfortable in my own skin. But then there are bits literally where he'd be like, "Okay, you walk over there on your own." I was like, what? It was like being thrown out by a parent into the middle of a road. And so I kind of thought, oh my God, no, I can't. It was so deeply uncomfortable. Jive, fine. It was a character. It was lively. It was jokey. That's my kind of safe space. Charleston was the same. Then we went into ballroom, which was like softness and light. And I was totally not comfortable.
You're like, tap me out, get me back to something tango-y.
Out. And then, so it was tough. Like we had tough weeks on the trot. And then it felt like Blackpool was a real moment where I kind of had this sense of confidence that
I've got this, I'm getting this.
And I felt like there was a kind of embodiment of like, there was a power that I kind of finally was allowing myself to feel, and a confidence that had come, and which is why I think Carlos was really emotional on that night, because the judges really enjoyed it and whatever else. And then the following week, so I think it was just to have come from that high to then bang was so like it not that it was unexpected, but you kind of, I just don't believe in preparing for the worst.
No, yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, I'm like, I'm just not going to really allow myself to think about that, because there's no good. But I think it just meant that it was like, oh my God, it's gone. And everything happens so quickly, and then you realise in that moment that, like,
I'm not coming back next week.
Oh wow, I'm not training next week. And all of the joy of it really lands with you, but almost like too late, you know, because week on week you're getting ready for Saturday, you're getting ready for the next dance, you're choosing the music for the next dance. It's such a whirlwind, and then suddenly it's like everything stops and everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
And it's a really bizarre feeling. So I don't think it was anger. I think it was just like,
like being punched, like, oh God, no, I want to come back.
Like rug pulled out, you're like, oh. And we were due to go to Ireland next week, and we had, like, it was musicals week, and we had a big plan. It was like, so I think it was upset.
You were gutted,
I was really good at, and as it turns out, my face doesn't lie.
No, it really doesn't.
One way or the
Which
other,
I loved.
know?
When they're all coming up to you at the end, when you do your song, and do you think, get the fuck away from me?
No.
I was like, get off her.
I mean,
get off her. You're through. Piss off. I literally was sitting up in my chair going, oh, don't be so patronising. Oh, everyone's so sad. No, what they're thinking is, we got through. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm so mean.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of emotions. That's why they say it's a roller coaster of emotions, because, I mean, all of those emotions can coexist. That's why it's so confusing.
But if you don't have a poker face.
But you know what? Interestingly, I think I derived pure joy from that. Like, I think my reason for going into it was that I wanted to indulge, like, the child within me. And I think so often as adults, and certainly in this, you know, in like the limelight, you can become kind of a little self-aware.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to, like, really not think about what anyone else thought of me. And I think I really managed to do that, which is why sometimes that moment, it was almost like I'd woken up. I was back to reality. That kind of being completely wrapped up, I suppose, in this joyful kind of experience, was all consuming. But I think as a result, maybe people thought that it was easy all the time. And when we left, I think the enormity of everything, of like standing there and having people feedback to you, good, bad, or indifferent. And I mean, you know, judges, but also everyone. That all kind of lands. And I think my emotion, even though there was a bit of, waking up on Tuesday morning with a vulnerability hangover that you've shown too much, I'm glad that I didn't.
I don't think you showed too much.
That.
No, I think you did brilliantly.
You know, actually, I was all in.
You were all in. That's why I was raging.
Yeah.
It was like, she ain't fucking around.
Yeah.
she ain't fucking around. She's in it. She's in it to win it. I was.
No, but I actually.
I'm still angry.
Like, the thing is, I was
messaging Clusion Cash. Clusion Cash are a brilliant makeup artist and hairdresser in Ireland. That if you go to Ireland and you need hairdresser and makeup, you use. It's like, if they're not available, you're like, who's in town?
Yeah.
Because I'm going soon, and Nicola's there. Nicola Cochrana's there doing Bridgerton. I'm like, that bitch.
Done.
I mean, that's not really on scale, is it? It's like, do we do Bridgerton or do we do Hirons?
You know what? They'll fit you in. They'll fit you in.
She will.
Yeah.
But for you, the makeup side, controversial, but brilliant.
Apparently.
But brilliant. No fake tan.
No fake tan. I mean, I haven't worn fake tan. It wasn't like I just thought, do you know what would really piss them off now?
Yeah.
Is if I don't wear fake tan.
Yeah.
I haven't worn it for a decade. So I was like,
why would you do that again?
Yeah. Time. Yeah. So multifaceted. I was like, in hindsight, probably a Samba dress looks better with the little shimmer. But you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. I was like,
committed. See?
I'm committed. I'm committed. And I had so many messages, still do, from people, you know, saying how like their daughters had felt for the first time, like, oh my God, I can unleash my milk stems.
Exactly.
I can like
redheads.
embrace my pale skin. And it's not just redheads. There's loads of people who have very pale
but
skin
it was
who
a
feel
particular
uncomfortable with said pale skin.
Yeah.
And so it was, I would think it's for the redheads, but actually it spans a lot more. And you know, and women of our age who'd be like, I never felt comfortable. And finally I'm like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
So it became something that I felt quite passionately about.
How
like
early on did
defiant.
it, were you clear it wasn't going to happen? Did you
I was
try
clear
a
from
fake
the
tan or
get-go.
did you say, I'm not doing it?
No. It was kind of floated. FYI, they always kind of say, you don't need to do the tan, but you can. Like, there's a boot there on Friday. I was like, yeah, I'm grand. You can try it once, you know, if you want to try it week one. I was like, I'm grand. Like, I've done shows. I'm happy having my legs out. It's not like I've been in, you know, a suit all my life and then suddenly, you know, I'm bearing flesh and maybe I would want to, you know, put a bit of
You were comfortable in your own skin.
I was like, fine.
Another reason I was raging.
I got freckles. I'm like, yeah, take it or leave it, you know? So and for my girls as well, I was like, I love makeup and I love fashion and I love dressing up and I love the expression and the hiding behind and, you know, getting behind a character. But, you know, also I don't love the smell of fake tan and I don't want to smell like a sausage roll on a Friday night.
And then it goes flaky and...
It's a whole other level of admin that I just did not have time to do.
It's a whole other
Friday
thing.
night, I'm like, I've got dinner to make on Friday because it's literally the only evening that I'm going to be home. And so...
I'm not spending it smelling the biscuits.
No. And I love biscuits, but I don't want to smell of them.
How did
All
your
the time,
skin
at least.
cope with Strictly, with the makeup and the lights? And what was your skincare routine?
Minimal. Like, obviously, it's intense on show days.
Yeah, but the rest of the time you're just sweating it off anyway.
Best of the time, you're sweating it off. So you're on camera all the time. But again, I was quite comfortable sticking a brow on, so I had a bit of definition, you know, and then I would literally put a bit of concealer on where I needed it, and it was sweated off within an hour. Hair tied back furiously in a bun. It was pretty low maintenance, but I just didn't have the time. And I also you forgot that we were being filmed. I never watched the show back, so I never watched the VTs.
You never watched, but you saw your tango. You must have seen your tango.
I saw my tango. My tango I still watch if I have a down day. I'm like, guys,
like,
gather
I'm tired.
around, people.
Everybody gather. We're about to tango.
Yes.
What did your kids say?
About the tango?
Well, just the response to the tango.
Oh,
They must have experienced the response.
yeah, they did. They loved it. They loved it. But weirdly, I found sometimes I wasn't able to receive it in those moments. And I found in my bedside drawer the other day a card from Ruby. And it was like, I loved your dance. Now, I don't know whether she was referring to a dance that wasn't loved. But she's like, I loved your dance. I gave it 10, 10, 10. And so she would kind of leave these things. She was, I think, aware that sometimes I didn't agree with her. Why was he so mean?
Why is he mean, Craig?
You know, there would be these kind of moments, and then she was like, Craig, loved your Charleston. Craig gave you a 9. Like, she was aware of the score. And I was like, babe, it's not about that. I really loved my dance. So I was trying to instill in her that, honestly, the judges were the least of my worries.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I think they knew when it went well, and they knew when it hadn't gone well.
Based on you getting home.
Based on me coming home and slumping in the
Or me
corner.
coming home and drop, like Cruella de Vil, drop everything. I'm fabulous.
Yeah.
When you look back now, could you have foreseen that something like that was going to be in your future? Did you always think, oh, I'd like to get involved in something like that? When did you get the call for Strictly? Did you think, did you have to persuade yourself to do it?
I had real conversations with myself a number of years.
So if I ever get asked to do Strictly,
yeah,
right, okay.
So I had gotten close to doing it before, and then I was like, no. I mean, my youngest was 18 months when the show started.
Well, that's why I was asking, because your body's still kind of...
Babe, the Charleston knew all about it, let me tell you that, or at least my trousers did. So there were moments, we did the dress run, and Carlos was like, what happened? I was like, babe, honestly. And I didn't know him well enough to have for full disclosure at that point. But yeah, my pelvic floor was tested,
Yeah.
But also I was like, do you know what? I've birthed 2 babies. I'm a strong ass woman. And
I can do this.
yeah. So I really wanted to kind of feel, powerful. That felt less of a stretch for me. It was the sexy lady stuff that was trickier. But now she sticks her leg out at any moment. Lara knows.
Oh, God.
There's a point that I
Taxi.
whip it out. Oh, big time. I love it. Absolutely love it.
This episode is obviously brought to you by the SkinRocks app, your free to download ultimate guide to skincare made by me, all in one place, with a catalogue of over 24,000 products and over 600 expertly written articles and guides with new content daily. It really is your destination for your best skin yet. And I'm thrilled, because I can, to offer you an exclusive discount to unlock an elevated app experience with exclusive features and even more skincare expertise from me, plus so much more. Revolutionise the way you discover, shop and learn about skincare with our multi-award-winning app. Download the SkinRocks app for free and sign up to Premium with your exclusive code CHPOD, all in caps, to save £10 off your annual subscription. More details in the show notes. Switching over to skincare, beauty.
Yes.
I know you're a bit of a product junkie.
I am.
What was your earliest memory in terms of, how was your skin growing up? Mm-hmm. Because you're so comfortable in your skin now.
Yeah.
Were you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hard, no.
Because you were so fair, or just in general?
No, I don't think it was the fairness. I'm one of 4 girls, and 3 of the 4 of us were redheads, are redheads. And Siobhan, my other sister, was kind of blondie, brown, but fair-skinned like us. So, we were travelling circus vibes. And my mum would always, I think, preemptively kind of, chat to hairdressers and be like, make sure they know how
fabulous their hair is.
Yeah. So I think it kind of felt quite special
Good.
as a kid. Mm-hmm. Teenage years, a bit trickier. I didn't want to feel special. I wanted to feel like a Spice Girl. I wanted to look exactly the same as my friends, and I didn't feel that way at all. And then I had acne as a teenager into my, probably in my late teens, 20s, and even up until my late 20s, actually. That would flare up I was so uncomfortable in my skin, really bad acne. That was, horrible. I remember being in college and university and a baseball cap and full blown spots.
How did you get rid of it?
Honestly, my mum was quite old school and was like, no, teenage pimples. I was like, babe, I think we've passed that. I used, this is probably the worst, benzyl peroxide and all that stuff, over-the-counter stuff back in the day. And then I don't know how I got my hands on that stuff that Jessica Simpson used to, Proactive maybe?
Proactive.
I mean, I don't know what's in it, whether it's good, bad. Anyway, the ship has sailed. But yeah, I was very keen to do Roaccutane at one point, but never got there. So yeah, I think that kind of made me very, very, quite uncomfortable in my own skin. Even when I met my husband, I remember, and that would have been my late 20s, I found this Clinique concealer that was, when they were talking about mineral makeup being, clean enough to sleep in. And so I would literally put on concealer and then go to bed because I was so self-conscious about it, Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I became...
Did you grow out of it? Or
I grew out of it.
Yeah.
And also I became very... the habits, the upside of that was I got into habits really early. I was very aware of when my skin would flare. And so I was, much more conscious. I mean, my friends would face down and pillow with, mascara
sleeping in all their makeup.
Crap. And I was very good at a double cleanse long before it was a thing. So I think I became quite good at looking after my skin. But it was Probably, yeah. Late teens before I knew somebody told me about moisturiser, and I was like, oh, that's a thing. I mean, I remember my granny having oil of Ulay, as it was called.
Everyone's
back in the
granny
day.
had oil of Ulay. I still think of it as oil of Ulay.
Oil of
I see
Ulay.
Olay and I think, oh God, it's Ulay. Olay,
It's
Olay.
Ulay, yeah,
I know.
in that like
The bottle. Oh yeah.
and it was on, and you could smell it and the powderiness of it and how comforting that felt to
Yeah.
me. But I don't recall like having, lots of romantic ideas around skincare as a routine or.
And
that
what is
kind
it
of thing.
now? What's your skincare routine now?
Now it's I mean, like kind of like with all approaches to my life, I'm all or nothing. So I kind of go through a 14-stepper and then I'll go, do you know what?
I don't need
Life's
any of
too
this.
short. Just hand me the wipes. No, I don't do wipes. I know you do not like a wipe. I know.
Why wait until I've taken a mouthful of water
know,
to say
sorry.
the W word? I
Yeah.
was like, who
And
doesn't
I try to impart that on people with like the level of anger that I feel you
Thanks.
feel about
Great.
it.
Love that.
Yeah, yeah. Because they're
Go out into the world.
Yeah. But even it's that, like, I mean, I will always, and I've done this for years, is pat. I'm very good at patting. If I see someone wiping their face, I'm like, why are you abusing your face?
Oh, I'm a wiper.
Oh, sorry. Are you shitting
What do
me?
you pat? What do you pat?
All of my face. What are you
Cleanser.
talking about? Huh?
You don't pat cleanser.
No, I mean when you're drying.
Right.
Like I.
Oh, drying. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't dry it.
Oh no,
I don't dry it.
We're getting stuck in.
Oh,
What do you mean
okay.
you don't dry it? You
Just go
drip
straight
dry.
in. Well, no, when you use a flannel and you've cleansed and you take
Yeah.
your flannel away, your skin's damp dry, it's fine, crack on.
And then crock on with what?
Whatever I'm doing next.
Shut up! I thought you have to be fully dry before you put anything on.
No, far better not to be.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no. I feel better
wow.
knowing that you're not going around doing this with everything.
No, absolutely not. Like, no, who has time for that shit? Although I watch my husband wash his face, I'm like,
Don't ever do that.
it looks like an assault.
I know. My husband looks like he's mugging himself.
Oh, like genuinely,
Like,
I'm
what
like,
are you
do you
doing?
want your eyes to be there when you finish?
Hi. And he's just like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Also, I'm like, relax your muscles, babe. It's not.
It's not that deep, chill.
Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, I'm a patter.
Did you have SPF growing up?
SPF always. I mean, not when I was a kid.
Yeah. I don't think any of us did when we
no.
were kids.
No.
Maybe nowadays. Like, I'm sure your kids
Oh,
will have
yeah,
SPF
yeah.
if you're going on holiday and things like that, but not
Oh, I'm an SPFer every day for them.
nice.
Yeah. And yeah, factor 50. Forever. Like when I went away traveling with my girlfriends and they were all big tanners, like, and they got a tan. I learned earlier on that it was quite futile exercise for me. So, and also my eyes are really sensitive. So I would for periods, like let my body tan, but I'd have a towel over my face or like a hat on my face.
But that's
which
genetic
I think has served
too.
me well.
It's genetic too.
What's genetic? The need for a towel over
No,
my
redheads,
face?
sensitive eyes.
Of course.
More sensitive to
Everything.
anaesthesia. You know, if you're going for an operation,
Insults.
it doesn't, anaesthesiologist have to
Babe.
have a special thing for you and...
Well, I
You're
have
very
had-
special.
We're so special. I've had a wisdom tooth pulled out before, and I mean, I could feel the entire thing. I was like, "Babe, you're going to need to kick that up a notch." She's like, "No, I've put in a lot now. I'm going to go again."
No.
So she kept injecting.
Oh,
Guys,
my God.
At the very end, she kept bringing people in, going, "Is this a thing?" In the end, she said, "You know what? I think we're going to have to leave it." And I said, "I am not getting out of this chair. After the assault on my mouth, you're going to finish the job. Get back in here." So I said, "Give me another shot of that stuff." And she pulled my tooth out, and eventually it comes out. And I think it might have just been a botched job. She held it up and she's like, "The root is a little bent."
They've gone. The room's gone. How old were you?
2 hours later. I mean, this was around
This is yesterday.
8 years ago. I brought it home in a bag.
I've had one of those experiences
Horrendous.
with the foot on the chair in there, and you think, why? Why are you trying to kill
But
me?
like the thing is, to the very same place, I feel you, babe. It makes me sweat too. The first one I did, I had gone in hungover, and I thought I might there's a
Why
chance
would you
here.
do that
'Cause
to
I was
yourself?
like, I've got stuff to do, and so went in and out it was seamless. So I went in, walked in off the road, thought, go on, get the other one, like even me up. No. I needed to mentally prepare for that level of
I'm quite exhausted
intrusion.
after that, to be fair.
yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you're as obsessive as I am, and you don't have to say something that I've made.
Oh, go on.
I'm not that much of an egomaniac, but if your bathroom cabinet is on fire, what do you think? Oh, shit, I've lost that.
Oh, what am I bringing with me?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know when they say when you're on an airplane,
Yeah.
if the plane goes down, do not grab your belongings. I'm like, I am not leaving my handbag on the plane. I'm sorry.
Your handbag. Oh,
My
so
handbag
we can
is
bring a
coming
whole
with me.
handbag.
No, I'm saying as an example.
Oh, I was like going to go for Carmex, but if I can have a whole bag, I'll bring the lot.
No. But if your bathroom cabinet's on fire, or your makeup tray, or your fragrance tray, whatever, what are you going to think? Oh, I'm gutted I haven't got that on me.
I think I'm probably going, I need context for this, Carol. So, like, is it in the morning or the evening?
Okay, right. Wow. Okay. So there's been a fire.
Okay, there's a fire.
You're doing
like, have I cleansed already?
Wow. Okay, this is really getting
Do
intense.
you know what I mean? Because if I haven't, then I'm not going to get like a spot cream, for example.
You're as awkward as I am. I love it. When people say to me, what would you be your desert island project? I'm like, well, I need context. What's on the island already? Do I have Sky
is
TV?
there shade?
Do I have Sky TV?
Yeah.
Everyone says SPF. I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm stuck on the island forever, I don't want SPF.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I'd want a lip balm.
Yeah, I'd want a lip balm too. Because also you could shift your eyebrows up with the lip balm. You'd
Deodorant,
yeah.
maybe.
No, deodorant.
But then I'm like, depends who else is there. I have asked
a
a question before. Is there going to be a hot man there?
Yeah.
Is it just Jim and I, in which case I don't need a deodorant? Who cares?
No.
Do you see what I mean?
Also sea salt. I imagine if you're in and out of the water a lot, sea is going to keep you sniff.
I like the tangent we've gone off.
Yeah.
But your bathroom cabinet is still on fire.
Fine.
What are you going to miss?
I'm going to say, although I don't even have it and it does go a bit smelly after a while, 8-hour cream.
Oh, I can hook you up.
Yeah?
Yeah, you won't have to buy it ever again in your life.
Okay,
Now you've
great.
said that, you're good.
Because I used to...
That's a genius answer because you could use it.
There's so many uses for it. I remember reading a thing that Kate Moss used to use it when she was going to bed after a big night out.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the equivalent of 8 hours sleep in a, like, slather. So I used to do it as a teenager. Maybe that's what gave me...
Did it not burn your face off? I mean, 8-hour cream's got a bit of... Yeah, 8-hour cream's got a bit of a... Whew.
Does it?
Yeah.
Why do they put it on your lips then?
No, in a good way. But I don't know if I'd want it all over my face.
Oh, no, it's quite nice. It's a 8-hour cream. Highlight, brow, slick hair
Calm
backs,
the hair.
get rid of the flyaways.
I'm with you. Good answer. Nice.
Yeah.
What about fragrance? What fragrance?
Fragrance, I'm not really loyal to fragrance. I like a woody kind of.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm more of a sagey Palo Santo kind of. Like I like when you have to get up close to somebody to get a sniff of them. I don't like to have a waft as they walk by.
You don't want to walk into a room and go, God, there's someone in here that is wearing that
totally.
fragrance
or I
is
don't want to
wearing
be
them.
in your cloud of sweetness, unless I want asked to be.
Or too heavy.
Too much.
Too heavy, especially on a hot day.
Yeah, I don't want to smell you before I see you. Even if it's a good smell. Do you know what I mean?
I don't want to smell you before I see you.
But also there's something like it's intimate and gives a little surprise if there's like a little essential oil tucked behind your ear.
You are supposed to only be able to smell it when you're in someone's space.
Exactly that.
You don't really want to smell it when you're queuing up somewhere and you're like, Jesus, I'm downwind.
Yeah. But like if you're dancing with someone, you're literally going, I mean, there's multiple spritzes. I had spray in my bag all the time, which I didn't have and then didn't realise that it was a thing.
Why?
What? Because you are in somebody's space all the time.
Right.
So you're like, oh, maybe I'm a bit pongy.
How did Carla smell?
Really good.
Did he?
Yeah. Which made me question whether I did. I was like, I've never really thought about somebody's smell so deeply.
Really?
Yeah.
Although I've had those moments. I was backstage at This Morning once when Anton and Giovanni were going on.
I told you, it's a dancer's thing. Cloud.
God. God. I was put into a bit of a trance. Yeah. I was completely transfixed. I was just like, and they're both taller than me, which is a plus. I mean, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, would you do Strictly?
How tall
I'm like,
are you?
well, I thought I was 5'10".
Okay.
Apparently I'm 5'9".
Okay, great.
I think I'm
neither
5'10".
more.
I'm sticking with a 5'10".
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
But people say, oh, you could do Strictly. I'm like, it's never going to happen. And I would never do it. And then I'm like, who the fuck would be able to pick me up and spin me around? The Rock?
I didn't do much spinning, babe. You don't have to do much spinning.
No.
You'd
that
be
was
more
not,
finesse.
Please take it from me. That was not me pitching. I'm merely relating that Anton and Giovanni, they smelled like gods. Immaculate.
Yeah, their suiting is.
Oh my God.
Supreme.
I came off. I took my mic pack off. I turned around. I thought, it was subtle. Something smells nice. You know when you go,
okay.
Like Ghostbusters when they go, I turned around and I went, oh my God. And the the way they stand,
Posture.
the posture when they're getting their mic packed and very polite. Thank you. And I'm just like, goodbye.
Oh, really?
Oh my! I was gone.
Oh.
Having watched Strictly since the beginning, never gone
never
like.
Smell it.
Well, no, it's not smell-o-vision, sadly, but it
Exactly.
should be. That maybe we should petition for that.
I think so.
I want a list of what they all wear.
Yeah, multiples, different times of the day.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, mwah.
Lots of spritzing going on.
God.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of presenting.
I have, yeah, that's my job, babe.
No, I know. I was gonna elaborate. You've done a lot of presenting in your career. It's like somebody say to me, "You've done a bit of cleansing." Yeah, you've done a bit of skincare. Yeah. Allow me to finish my train of thought. It does go on vacation. I apologise.
Go on, I love
You've done a variety of presenting in your
true.
career.
This is true. Range.
A wide and broad depth range of. What's been the funniest, best thing to do where you think that was a crack? And please talk to me about Trump superfans.
Okay, so on the range, I love live telly, right?
Yeah.
But also I love a surprise. Okay, so when I decided to do Strictly, I was like, at the beginning of the year, I was like, surprise me. I'm going to say yes, whatever it is, throw it at me. So that kind of spurred that decision. But generally, I like to think, okay, where do they think I'm heading? And then how do we shoot off in a direction unexpected? So, Robot Wars wasn't a logical move for me. Yet, it's my interest, I think, is in humans. And the quirkier, the better. Like, for me, the humans who have wild specific interests are the ones I want to delve into, which kind of neatly brings you to Trump's superfans. And so there are through lines definitely to what I do, even though it looks, on the surface I go in lots of different directions. Like Your Homemade Perfect is me snooping around. It's getting an insight into people's brains and lives and relationships, as well as their storage solutions, which are also key.
But what's been your
interest?
What's been your fave? What's been the most enjoyable in terms of this is my job, but actually it's just a fucking great life?
I mean, I do a chat show in Ireland, and I think that was a kind of a real moment for me, because it's kind of bucket list.
Yeah.
You put it on the list that you forget about in a book, and you're like, I'd love to do that. And so to sit on, a pink velvet chair and chat to amazing people and see them interact and, live, a live audience and a big, shiny, kind of chaotic show was a real dream. Yeah.
Joy.
Yeah, joy.
Is there much more joy coming up this year? What else are we doing?
We love a bit of joy, And I think, for me, that element of surprise is still really key. And I think it's kind of, a privilege to go, I want to do things that I really love. Obviously, I got a mortgage to pay as well. But I think, that lightness is what I think I'm good at, and bringing people out of themselves.
Signing up to do a weekend radio show, did you have to have a hard think about, is this going to limit what I can do during the week? Or is this going to bring more? Or is this going to limit what I can do in terms of, because I don't know if radio is the same, do you get the same job holidays that everyone else does? You still be able to plan a holiday with the kids? How long do you have to be contracted for? It's like a whole other different deal, isn't it? Because when you do a regular radio show,
it's a real job.
People expect you to be there.
Off.
Exactly.
And so it's the first time I've had a real job.
It's not the first time you've had a real job.
I mean, it is.
So this is the first time you've had a real job.
Yeah.
How's that?
No, I mean, I've had loads of jobs. I've worked forever.
Yeah.
But it's the first time, like you say, where there's kind of, usually I work in bursts and then I'm spat out the other side. This is,
Structure, repetitive.
And it actually feels good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because it's not really repetitive, and it's homely, and it's a lovely place to work. And like I said, there's that touch point of, viewers and familiarity or listeners. So, yeah, it's good. And actually, I love an all self-development read, and they talk about, even though I resist at all costs routine and structure, and I like to think, you know, my life is free, actually, those
Structure.
points of structure and that kind of recurring element makes me feel quite free elsewhere.
But that's kind of what I meant by repetitive. You've got that to count on,
I
and it's
guess.
security.
Yeah.
Is that going to free you up to think, well, I've got that, now I can go and do this?
Yeah.
Or are you kind of thinking, oh, maybe I'll write a book, maybe I'll do something on stage? You know, where do you see it going? Are you committed for like, have you had to say, I'll be here for 10 years, it's fine, Virgin?
Oh yeah, but I'm only doing weekends, it's fine. I've got the other 5 days.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, it's a contract, and you know, Graham Norton did weekend radio for 13 years.
Was it that long?
Yeah. And so
Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long though.
I know. So you can I think there's ways and means of doing things. Work is flexible. I have my own company, a jewellery business, Freckle, which it's allowed me freedom to kind of lean into that a bit more. I wrote Joyrider during lockdown. I'm due to write another book that I honestly don't understand how people write them when they're not in lockdown, which is quite a specific thing.
Yeah, agreed.
You know? So that's on my to-do list. But also I don't know. Weirdly, I just don't feel like I need to be as linear. I was always very good with the 5-year plan. And now I feel like, show me what you have. Let's see where we go.
But that's fantastic though, right?
Yeah.
How is Freckle doing?
It's good.
What's happening?
It's good. I mean, it's trucking along, you know, and it's kind of like I studied business in university, and I always, you know, telly wasn't on my list of things to do. It just didn't feel like something I would do. I watched it. It was very much something separate. Like I grew up in the country. It was like, no, that's not a thing. But I always wanted to have my own business. Remember watching Baby Boom with Diane Keaton. Have you
I
ever
love
seen
that film.
Best film you've ever seen in your life.
Sam Shepard.
Unbelievable. He weirdly didn't make as much of an impact as she did on
She was
me.
brilliant in it.
Incredible. But I just remember thinking that she's a badass bitch. And having that kind of fire. Like I always knew that I wanted to work for myself and to build something and create something. And that was that was crystal clear. I mean, the irony of working for yourself is you kind of work for everybody, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, I have multiple bosses, but Freckle is my thing.
Yeah.
So I'm able to kind of, for like in TV particularly, you know, from ideation to being on screen can be quite a long process. Yeah. And so to be able to affect change and make things happen quite quickly
be creative
and be really creative.
How do you go from studying business to being on TV, Angela Scanlon?
Oh, long-winded.
What's the dummy's guide to?
Dummy's guide.
I
okay.
should be doing a business degree. Actually, oh hello, I'm on Strictly and I'm presenting.
So did the business degree, 4 years out the other end, then wanted to have a fashion empire. Casual. And then
set the goal low.
Always. Great. Then I worked in a boutique. I was like, oh, turns out I'm not very good at selling things to people that I don't believe they should have. So I thought, that feels a bit flawed. But maybe just the buy in the boutique was wrong. Anyway, I couldn't lie to people's faces. Not that that's what I'm saying boutique owners do. This is digging. Anyway, I thought actually I'm a bit bored in here and I don't know if these four walls are going to do for me. Pias, I didn't own the boutique, but I just thought, it feels a bit more limited. Anyway, then I decided I would be, I started selling handbags in a stall. So I basically was working in admin and I called 2 handbag designers over here and told each of them that I was the agent for the other one. There's a through line, isn't there?
Wow.
And so I was like, oh yeah, I work as an agent for this brand. And they were like, oh, I know that brand. Cool, yeah, fine. So I came to London with like a shopper and I filled it and I came back and I sold them and I would go to charity shops and I'd trawl charity shops and get bracelets and bits and pieces and sell them. While I was there, somebody knew somebody who was a personal shopper and needed an assistant. I started assisting her while we were there. So I would literally be like in the equivalent of Westfield shopping for people. And then Yeah, they wanted somebody on the Irish equivalent of This Morning to talk about the Oscars. And so my boss at the time said, do you want to do it with me? And I did it. It was live. I was like, now we're talking. And there was a moment of...
Did you go,
yeah,
I can do this?
It was absolute, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. Because I'd kind of become a little bit tired of the fashion thing. I realised that I would meet people and they'd be like, what should I be wearing? I was like,
I don't care.
Honestly, couldn't care less. If you're happy in that, you do you. Where I should be saying, actually, stripes and really that cut, couldn't care less. So I was like, whatever makes you happy, you wear. And I thought, oh, that's all they think I have. I just was interested in people beyond what they were wearing. And so, yeah, I thought, telly is what I want to do. And so I started producing. I didn't realise I was producing at the time, but like on my lunch break, basically ringing this expose, it was called, ringing them and being like, yeah.
I've been interviewed by expose, God bless them.
There you go. So I'd basically be on my like personal shopping with you going, go in there, try on them jeans. I'd run out front, be like, oh, that dress looks like a Gautier one that I just saw on Drew Barrymore. And then I'd ring or text somebody on expose and say, I found an amazing dress in Oasis, you know, that looks exactly like this one, but it's £39. Perfect. So they'd come in on my lunch break and then we'd film a piece on a mannequin, or I'd have a model agent and the agent would send me the new girls and the new girls would come down and model the thing. So I was producing items, I just didn't realise I was producing them. And then I started pitching more and more outside of fashion. And then I got pitched a documentary called Oi Ginger, which was the first thing that I did that wasn't in fashion. And that was kind of how telly started. I didn't do a media course. I didn't sit as a kid and go, do you know what I want to be? That.
Yeah.
It was.
You were just put in that moment and went, oh, I like this.
Yeah. And then I followed and it felt like, oh yeah, no, it was a very, it was like something kind of
switching
clicked. On. That was long-winded, wasn't it?
No. How do you manage with children, because they're young, I mean, I would call them babies, they're young, and not being in a standard 9 to 5 that everyone sort of sees as the norm, but actually these days, I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
I really don't know if it is.
Well, you know, I actually think of it as a blessing in that they're aware that when I'm in, I'm kind of all in, or could be gone early. If I'm filming, I could be gone for a block of time. But when I'm off, I'm off. And I have friends who work in more traditional jobs who are gone at 7 a.m. and home, you know, just in time for bath time. And that, you know, there's much clearer lines, I guess, around those timings and around holidays and all of those things. And you're not on a call, you know, necessarily in the evening, although I don't even know that that's true anymore. So, yeah, I think I have the luxury, if you like, of having time that's kind of uninterrupted kid time. Yeah. You know?
There seems to be a common thread from people that we've spoken to that, you know, are in similar positions who recognise that although when you're off, you are almost sometimes gone.
Yeah.
When you are on, you're able to be completely on because you're not getting up and going to a 9 to 5 the next day.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, I did it with the first two. The second two, we kind of switched a bit and Jim stayed home after I had Max.
Yeah.
And by the time we'd had Max, I was the one going out. Yeah. So I've done a bit of both in that way. And you're right in terms of it, you have to be either you're in or you're out. But that goes with any role.
Yeah. With any role, totally. And also I think it's, you know, there's sacrifices. I think, you know, we're all fed the lie of having it all. And I think our generation is particularly kind of at risk of believing that, or we have done.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't be everywhere all the time.
There's the saying, you know, you can either, there's the three things we're kind of challenged to be as women, which is not for everyone, but in a lot of cases it's mother, partner, and then whatever you're doing work-wise, business person. So in my case, you can do two really well at once. Something is always not getting your full capacity. Yeah. So if I'm really switched on and the kids are fine and work is really busy, I've probably left Jim in a field somewhere.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think he might be happy in the field.
Jim's very happy in a field. But if I'm at home and it's just Jim, kids, grandkids, I'm probably not even looking at my socials.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we need to stop selling this. You can have it all. I posted once, no, you can do it all. You have to do it all. It's not you have it all to do.
Yeah.
You have it all to do. It's not that you can do it all. You have it all to do.
Yeah, totally.
Exhausting.
But also I think we can maybe just drop our expectations. If you really get in touch with the fact that, you know, we're all going to die pretty soon probably, and we have... Sorry.
Well, it depends what happens in the American election, really, doesn't it?
But like you have limited... I've been reading a book called The 4,000 Weeks. We, on average, have 4,000 weeks of our lives. And most of us trundle through keeping busy because the realisation of how finite our time is so shockingly disturbing and frightening that we just keep ourselves busy to stay away from to disconnect from that fact. But if you remind yourself daily... Like my dad used to say, you could be dead tomorrow. Go for it.
That's a very Irish thing to say.
Very much, but it was like sold as a piece of, you know...
Yeah, take this wonderful advice and go with it, for sure.
Yeah.
They're not wrong, though.
Not wrong.
You're not wrong, though. I mean, I think, again, a common thread we've had during filming of this is that as you get older, and especially with women, when you get the other side of 50, you're very aware of your age. And not in a negative way, just in a, I don't have time to fuck about.
Yeah. But it makes you discerning about the choices you make
So
instead
discerning.
of just responding and saying yes to all this bullshit that just fills up your life and your calendar and your head.
I don't do FOMO. I don't
Amazing.
know. I'm glad I'm missing out.
Yeah, it's great.
And also like meetings.
Yeah.
With
Why?
work.
Yeah.
Why are we meeting? Is it a discussion or a decision? She'll tell you.
Beautiful. Also, does it need to be an hour? No.
Oh.
You
She's
know?
laughing because I'm just like, what's it for? 10 minutes, we'll be fine.
Done.
Then they're like, oh, I'm like, now your guys are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Too long. I don't need to sit in another meeting for an hour. I'll sit there and go, I'm 54, guys. I'll be dead soon. Can we get on? Literally.
I'll be dead by the time this is out.
Literally.
Guys. Honestly.
But then, but the team who are all, I mean, there's like a handful of us that are older, but the team, a majority of them are younger.
Yeah.
And they're all like,
they've got more weeks, little bitches.
Don't say that. You know, they think I'm being morbid. Don't say that. I'm like, I'm not sad. I just mean business.
I'm freeing you.
Just get out there.
Yeah. But also it makes you a bit more fearless. You're like, nobody gives a shit what you're doing.
No one cares.
If you want to do it, do it.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own problems. Everyone just wants to be seen and heard. Everyone's got their own shit going on. No one cares.
Yeah.
In the Facebook group this week, someone said, look at the state of my legs. Look at the state of my legs. I was going to wear shorts. It's so hot. And every response was, wear the fucking shorts. And then she edited it about, I don't know, like late that night. It said, edit, I wore the fucking shorts.
Good
and a
for
picture
you.
of her, their legs out.
Sweaty Betty done literally a campaign saying, wear the shorts.
Wear the shorts.
Wear the bloody shorts or whatever it is. Yeah. Because you look back, even now, I think sometimes I look back on videos from a year ago going, you don't, in the moment, you're usually so fixated on what is wrong that it, like, live your goddamn life. Wear the goddamn shorts.
Wear the goddamn shorts.
Eat the bloody pizza. Wear the lip gloss. Talk to me about retinol. Just very quickly while I have you.
Just while I have you. Okay, I'll chill. Go. I was about to say, this is a great segue into listeners' questions.
Sorry.
But we'll get there. Let's do retinoids.
Are we putting them... Because a lot of the time they say, don't put it near your eyes or your lips. But then I've had... people say, absolutely, that's where you need it most.
Well, show me how you would do it.
What do you mean?
If you were going to put it on your eyes and lips.
Oh, no, you're not rubbing it into your actual ducts.
Trust me, I have to ask.
She's patting. I mean, come on, I'm not an animal. I'm patting.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, you can take, well, it depends on the retinoid. You can take ours. You can take ours around your eye.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And it's good rather than to be avoided. Because the thing is, if you're lashing on retinoid everywhere else and the places you really need a bit of help, you're not putting it. It's like doubling down.
No, you can use it around your eye. And the key thing as well is when you're doing it, when people put eye cream on and they just do this, missing a trick, you've got to get it here. You've got to do here. Because if you think about where your lines are, do your temples, because that's where your lines are. When you smile, it's here.
All the way out.
All the way out.
Okay, great.
All the way out. Does that answer your retinoid question?
That'll do. Thank you very much.
We and a few of the team, I took my team to see Nickelback at the O2 this week, right?
I thought you said nippleback. I was like, who are they?
I gave them their nipples back.
Okay.
Went to see
I
Nickelback.
saw you dancing with
my cleanser.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Liv filming that, getting me in my moment of weakness when they're doing How You Remind Me.
This is how
you right now. Everybody is a
banger.
Nickelback fan, and they say Nickelback have two types of fans and liars.
I love that. Do they actually say that? No, I love that.
Fans and liars.
They need a rebrand though. If they're not, if you have a whole cohort of fans who are ashamed to admit they're fans,
Well,
there
I think
is a
it's
problem
coming
with
out.
their
You know, the
positioning.
film that came out on Prime Video is fantastic.
Has
where
helped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they play. At one point in the 90s, that song was played every minute around the world.
Really?
Every minute.
Wow.
They're not just one of the biggest acts Canada's ever had. They're one of the biggest acts in the world ever.
They're Canadian.
And people are lying.
But it's just the one song, really, isn't it?
Oh no, you're gonna be.
No.
Oh no.
Good for you.
I'm through with standing in line. The clubs I'll never get in.
Absolute banger.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah. He's
And
good,
what about?
isn't
Look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. And it became a meme. Look at this graph.
he? You want to become a meme these days.
Everybody loves a bit of Nickelback. They just lie.
Okay. My daughter's very into the Backstreet Boys these days.
I mean,
I know, she's 6.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But which one of them?
Oh, well. Nick. Yeah. She
AJ.
asked if she could eat his head for her We got a birthday cake and she said, I'm eating Nick's head. I was like, you tell him. So she did. But we then showed her a current picture of Nick and she was absolutely
horrified that Nick has grown. Horrified.
She's like, he's older than Dad. Yeah. She wasn't into
I
it.
feel bad for people whose kids are getting into Harry Potter and then they realise how old the stars of Harry Potter are.
Yeah.
They're like, surprise!
I
He's
know.
40 and a dad himself.
Yeah. They really...
I don't think he's 40, but you'd get my
I'd say
drift.
he's not far off it now. You just don't want to believe he's 40.
No,
Neither do I.
I don't
Google
know.
him.
Hey, let's look that up.
I feel like he would be close to that.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Well, after that huge diversion,
Anyways, look it
Angela
up.
Scanlon, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck with Virgin Radio. Not that you need it.
Much.
You're an effortless pro. Not that you need it.
Girl.
You can hear much more from our chat this Wednesday, so make sure you tune in. Send your questions to pod@carolinehirons.com. Until then, I'm glad we had this chat. New episodes are available every Monday and Wednesday. Follow or subscribe now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Glad We Had This Chat is produced by Wall to Wall Media.